Hey guys, welcome back to another video as a part of the IndustrialCraft 2 tutorial series. This is going to be part 3. Today we're going to be covering power storage and power transfer. If you're still looking for tutorials on power generation and nuclear reactor, I would suggest watching those. Part 1 is power generation, part 2 is nuclear reactor, but if you're not, if you're just interested in power storage, let's get straight into the video. So first we're going to cover power storage items, then we're going to go for blocks, and then we're going to cover cables at the same time. So you can skip to those, I'll have added chapters. Alright, so these are all the power storage items in the game. We'll just take them all out here. You might notice they all have durabilities. This is to symbolize the power inside of them. Except for this one, you can craft this with an insulated copper cable, redstone, coal dust, and it contains 1200 EU. I actually didn't even know this existed. It's not that great. You're basically just crafting power, which is never worth it because you can just use a generator for the same thing but better. This is an RE battery. If you put a battery in this slot here, it'll charge from a generator. This slot's going to be in different positions per generator, but there will always be a slot to put this in generators. You can see it's going to charge, and you can use it to put in another power storage block. This one is the same thing as this, however it stores 100,000 instead of 10,000. These four are the same thing as those, except they store, you can see, a lot more energy, and they also automatically charge any weapons or armor you have that use energy while they're in your inventory. So these are useful to just automatically charge your gear without having to worry about charging it via other means. And that's basically all the chargeable items. Now we're going to look at the 4 tiers of storage block and the cables that best suit them. The first one is the bat box. This is the worst one. It's pretty easy to craft. You use 3 RE batteries and a few other things. You can see it stores 40,000 EU, and it's basically your standard thing. You can put batteries in here. You can fill it up. Items up here will get charged by whatever's in here. However, it will not work if you have a tier above that. I think this is the only battery. I don't think any of these will work. This one, okay, this one will as well. You can see it just goes straight in here. Only the bottom tiers, though, will work in this. You can see the cable here, insulated tin cable. The way you do this is you craft tin cables and then you add a piece of rubber to them. The only reason you want to craft insulated cables, it still loses the same amount of energy per block. You can see that it loses 20 EU a block, and if you go to normal tin cable, it also loses 20 EU block. It has the exact same stats. The only difference is that if you run into a non-insulated cable, it will damage you. I believe this stacks depending on how much energy the cable is capable of transporting. But these can transfer 32 EU a tick. This outputs 32 EU a tick, so it's perfect. These blocks also have power tiers. This is power tier 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to match up the power tiers to machines, which also have their power tiers listed if you just hover over them. And now we'll just breeze through the other 3. This is power tier 2, 300,000 EU, it outputs 128 EU, and copper cables also carry 128 EU. This is an MFE, stores 4 million, 512 EU tick output, and gold cables will carry exactly that. MFSU will store 40 million EU, 2048 EU a tick out. These HV cables will do the trick. And here we have a charge pad. What this will do is you can craft it for anything. Any of these could be a charge pad. It doesn't just have to be the MFSU. And we also have the last cable here. It can transfer 81,000 or 8,192, which is not useful unless you have an add-on. I'm not sure what add-on, but there is add-ons that will make storage blocks capable of transferring that much energy. And you can see in here it doesn't have an output. That's because it doesn't actually output energy to anywhere. Instead, if you stand on here, it will charge any items you have on, and it will emit these, like, it'll turn blue and emit these blue particles. You can see if I grab all this stuff, put it on, then it will begin charging it. You can see going pretty fast, but these are also massive, 10 million EU per. The last 2 cables, like the glass fiber cable, they also transfer 88,192. However, they have some special redstone properties. The splitter cable will only transfer energy if it's not being powered by a signal. So you can see there's not a full path to this, so no energy is being transferred. But if we turn this off, it'll start transferring. And this, when EU is transferred through it, it'll emit a pulse. As long as EU is transferring it, it'll maintain that pulse. So you can see here, oh, I forgot about the jump boost on this armor. You can see here, once this is powered, it'll go all the way back here and power this, and which will turn off the flow. You can see it's energy going through, it stops, and then energy going through again. It'll do it in pulses. There's a few interesting steps you can do with this. I'm not going to cover any of them, but they're pretty straightforward of the possibilities. These are really useful blocks, just like this one, to send in short pulses. The last blocks we're going to talk about here are transformers. Basically what they do is they are the bridges between the power tiers. They transfer from one power tier to the other, whether up or down. Obviously, it can't actually output 120 ADU tick because it's outputting 33 ADU tick, so it's going to be a little slower to actually get everything in. But eventually, it'll do the trick. And this extreme voltage transformer is, again, like the glass fiber cable, useless without an add-on, because it transfers between 8192 and 2048. But you can see here we have an MFSU here, cable not transferring energy yet. You can see we have this 2048 ADU. This one will put that to 512. This one will put that to 128. This one will put that to 32, and then we can finally go in the bat box. So if we turn this on, you can see it starts filling up, and eventually it'll go full, and then that's all that does. Just as a demonstration of what exactly the power tiers do, let's say you're trying to put from an MFSU power tier 4 into a bat box power tier 1. Well, it'll explode, but not that much. Certain machines will explode a little more, but most of them will be around this size. You don't have too much to worry about unless they're concentrated in an area, but again, it's not exactly the best thing to do, and you obviously won't get the machine back that exploded, so beware. But yeah, it's a little bit of a shorter video. There's not too much to cover here. IndustrialCraft doesn't have too many options as far as storage goes. If you like this tutorial, be sure to like. If you disliked it, be sure to dislike. And preferably also comment. Tell me what you didn't like about it so I can try to improve for the next one. And I believe the next one is going to be part of the tutorial that is going to go over machines. I'm not going to do it all in one video because there's an insane amount of machines. But I'm going to split it up. Not sure how yet, but that is the next video. And I will see you guys then.